From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Nick Barris here. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. It is, of course, a Tuesday. We've got a good show on tap. We're going to open up the phone lines for you. We're going to talk a little bit about eating, what it is you eat, what you're thinking about as we plan on, can you believe it, Halloween around the corner. After that, we're into November. We've got the holidays and then Christmas and Hanukkah and everything else that's going on. And there are certain things that, at least for me, my diet changes for better or for worse. Usually for tasting better, usually for health maybe a little bit worse. But we're going to talk this morning about just diets, what it is you eat. It's one of those shows that's going to be a health-conscious program for you. You see, healthy holiday tips, caring for yourself, but it'll transcend just the holiday. The number is 737-7587 if you want to join in the conversation, not just with me, but with Holly Ladd.
Hello.
It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, as always.
She's been on before. She's a health and holistic coach, and she is real healthy. All right. I mean, she's just real healthy. Now, you weren't always that way. Let's give folks a little bit of your background. I always like to do this when we start things off. All right.
Absolutely.
At one point, did you have some undistinguished, not good dietary habits?
Absolutely.
Were you bigger than you are now?
I have been bigger than I was now.
Did you have health problems?
I had, the big thing for me was a health problem.
Okay, what was that?
I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease 5 years ago.
All right.
And it was a point in my life where I thought I was pretty darn healthy.
And tell people what you were doing. You were in kind of a stressful job, too.
Yeah, I was in real estate, and there was a lot of stress involved. It wasn't a good fit for me. Not to diss real estate, but it just wasn't a good fit for me.
Great gig, but it's stressful.
Absolutely.
And it can be rough, you know.
And I was eating a lot of, you know, bread, healthy bread, but it was part of my diet. And anyway, long story short, have a gluten intolerance. Gluten intolerances can cause autoimmune disease along with stress and some other health issues that I wasn't aware of. So anyway, went through a large battery of tests. Found out a lot about my body and completely changed my lifestyle and eating practices. And 5 years ago, that was 5 years ago, and today I'm, well,
You feel well? When
I
you
just
had
turned 50 and I'm feeling
Wow,
awesome.
you look great.
Thank
I mean, all right, when you went and said you did all these tests, was this with a conventional doctor, your physician, or did you go to one of these holistic experts?
Well, it's actually a burgeoning field of functional medicine.
Okay.
I went to a functional MD, which is a Western-trained doctor, but it's also been trained in functional medicine. So they look for things like toxicities, heavy metal toxicities, system imbalances. They really take the body as a whole and break it down, because traditional Western medicine tends to have all these specialties, and like, because your elbow hurts may not be because your elbow hurts, it may be because something's wrong with your kidney.
Sure, I mean, a symptom of something else, right?
A symptom of something else.
Yeah.
So the functional medicine model, it really looks at the body as a whole. And yeah, I had, I don't know, 12 vials of blood. I mean, it was crazy.
Okay, but that was all in search of why it was that you were feeling so lousy.
Absolutely.
And what was going on.
What's the root cause of your illness?
Okay, and you actually quit your job after that.
I did.
I mean, that to do what you do today.
Yeah, yeah. Because it was my mission at that point to be like, wow, I thought I was healthy, and I really wasn't.
But what did you, okay, so what, and we'll talk about this, it's not new, but I mean, to really make a sustained change in your life, you have to have a lifestyle change. And it's not just some crash diet where you're going to lose a bunch of weight. And then if you're not going to stick on that diet, eventually when you come off it, it's going to come back. So you need to make permanent changes. What was it you missed right off the bat when you started making? Did you miss a pizza? Did you?
Yeah.
Now you can still eat that now with gluten-free crust, maybe.
Gluten-free crust. Occasionally I'll indulge in a pizza, gluten-free pizza. It's not the best in the world, you know.
Thank you for saying that.
So,
I agree. I mean, it is what it is. It's different.
It's different. I mean, if you're really craving cheese and pepperoni, well, you know, fine.
Okay.
But I really, at this point, it's not an issue for me.
Right.
The thing that I miss most is an ice cold beer on a hot summer day.
Okay, so you cut now because beer has gluten in it. I guess it's made from wheat. So yeah, cutting out the beer.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean you cut out all alcoholic beverages, or will you still have some wine sometimes? Or?
Oh yeah, no. I cut out all alcoholic beverages for about a year and a half, and now I drink you know, 3 glasses of wine a week.
Okay, which you know they say there's antioxidants in wine, and it can be good for your blood.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation. Yeah. But beer's really what you miss.
Beer on an ice cold beer on a hot summer day.
I know, that was awesome, and you were used to that, but you feel better. It was worth giving it up because of the way you feel now.
Absolutely, and that's the thing that I stress with my clients is like, it may be hard initially to give up certain things, But once you start feeling better and once you start living life with the, in fact, a client of mine just yesterday, I was on a session call with her, and she said, you know, I feel lighter, and not just lighter in the weight sense, but just lighter in spirit, lighter in mentality, lighter in mood since she's gotten off sugar and made some dietary changes. So, you know, if you stick with it long enough, you will see the benefits.
Okay, and that's one thing. We're going to get into some details and also something we call seasonal eating. But for a lot of people, they may wonder, when you start this and you make those changes, typically how long did it take for you to notice some improvements? What's the eventual? How long does it take to see change?
For some people, it depends. It really depends on the person. It depends on how bad they are, really. Some people, as quickly as 2 weeks, they notice a difference. For me, because my things were so systemic, it was more like 3 months before I really saw change. And it can take up to 6 months. So again, we have to reset our mentality. You know, we're in a country where we want to have change tomorrow, feel better tomorrow, take a pill, feel better tomorrow.
Right.
Where really, if you just stick with something for a few months, I mean, it's 6 months out of your life. That's nothing. You will see the benefits, and you will start feeling better.
You're right. It's just tough when you initially get started, and then when you stick with it and you start seeing and feeling the improvement, it's easier just to roll with it, and then you stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm guessing you don't. Maybe every once in a while you'll still miss it in the summer, but you don't think about your beer anymore. No, you have other alternatives you'll drink, and you're just fine with all that. All right, I want people, you know, to join in the conversation if you'd like. 737-7587. First, have you changed the way you've ever eaten? Diets along those ways, and how do you prep for the holidays? That's one thing. You can get on exactly what you described and what you do, which is great. And then you start getting toward Thanksgiving, which is really the eating holiday of all, I imagine. And how do you avoid that? Because the fact that you choose to be this way doesn't mean those close to you maybe want to do the same thing.
Right.
And so that means you have a little for everyone. And then you're sitting there looking at it. And it's a temptation. You can have the willpower, of course, and not have it. You're eating something else, but you know that looks so good. What do you do?
Well,
like at Thanksgiving at your place, I don't know.
Well, okay. I make healthier options, and my healthier options people actually like them better because they don't feel disgusting after you finish Thanksgiving.
You're just like, okay.
But it's, you know, it's all delicious. You know, I eat turkey. I make a gravy that's just more of a jus, like a
it's clear as opposed to using flour in it, right?
I do sweet potatoes and Granny Smith apples with a little maple syrup, which are just delicious.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I do a stuffing made out of polenta, which is delicious. I mean, everything can be made healthier for the holidays and still taste good.
What did you say? Sweet potatoes and what?
Sweet potatoes. Yeah. Granny Smith apples.
Yeah. You know what? That sounds really good. I want that recipe.
Yeah, you slice them and you put them in a pan and then you drizzle maple syrup and a little melted butter on it, and then cook the heck out of it.
Rick's telling me you could do honey if you wanted to.
You could do honey, but the maple syrup just gives it like that.
I bet it does. Yeah, maple syrup has a distinct. God, that sounds good. Yeah. All right, listen, we got to take a break on that now. When we come back, we'll get into more of the dietary things. Talk about vitamins. Talk about some of. I don't know if there are. I haven't paid attention to this. Any new fad diets that you look at or you see what people are doing, and kind of shake your head and go, "That's going to work short term, but it's not going to work long." And just give us some take on that as well. All right. And like I said, if you want to join in the conversation, 737-7587. Do you pay attention to what it is you eat, or do you just roll? I mean, everyone's different. So we'll take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.